Today is February 9th. It is episode 300. Decky West Coast. How are we?
We're doing great, Andy Vintage. How are you, brother?
Oh man, I'm so happy to be here. We talked about this last episode. It's not a huge deal because it's another run of the mill podcast. We're just really we're staying course true to who we are. But hey, let's pat ourselves on the back real quick and acknowledge that we got to episode 300. Some people didn't think it was possible.
I don't know if anyone looked at us at episode 1 and was like, yeah, dude, can't wait for episode 300. Like, these guys are really cohesive and good at what they do. Like, I don't think that was any of the thoughts of the people. And I also don't think, like, people doubted us either. Like, someone told you a year ago that we'd get to episode 300, they'd probably be like, oh, I thought they were already on it, you know? But, dude, congrats, man. This is a big, just a fun little moral victory for the boys.
Absolutely a moral victory. Looking back, to 4 years ago, walking the streets of St. Thomas, talking about how we released a podcast, and people are like, "Yeah, sick, dude." Like, all right, whatever. And just staying true course. And 4 years down the line, I guess our first launch of our podcast was February 14th, 2017. So it literally took us just about 4 years to get to 300 episodes, which is, I think we flew to 300 because of 2019 when we released 120 in what was that, like 47 weeks or something?
Yeah, we went after it. I think we accelerated in 2019. We only released about 50 some in 2020, but regardless, I think the growth has far more to do than just podcasts. And I think I'll start with this and just simply say, like, I'm super grateful for you as a co-host and a co-founder. None of this is possible without you and our cohesive balance as business partners, best friends, and podcast mates. So good, glad to have you and love you, man.
Hey, man, I love you too. I appreciate that. That fired me up because, this 4 years I wouldn't have been able to get through it without you. And likewise, so many times we looked at each other and we wanted to sock each other in the face. And so many other beautiful moments where we just come in here with a big old handshake and we're like, holy shit, we're doing it. And no one else is doing it. Oh man, that's fucking awesome. Yeah. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, we don't get to 300 without just like kind of battling and destroying obstacles in our way and just trying to find the path of maximum happiness, if that makes sense. There's also paths of least resistance, but I think you and I, when we are starting to do stuff within Backpocket and it starts to feel like it's not going the right way, or it was just a shitty experience to go through in general, I think there's no two better people to go figure out how to maximize the happiness the next time after we do something than you and I. And, starting with the impetus of the average quality, accepting the fact that things aren't going to go our way and are going to be incredibly wildly average the first time, second time. Whenever we try something, it will go average more likely than not. And I think that mindset of just like accepting that has been huge for us.
Yeah. Massive. The wildly average tagline lives on strong. To think of like how we originally looked at it from Coach K, just going through the hit sheet saying O-line average, and taking that little term, you making it our own. And pretty much the reason why we're able to do what we do is because we recognize, hey, this is the best we can offer at this point, and we are going to get better the next time. And that's why this moment is average, because there's always that time for growth. And the way we've transformed into talking through this podcast, originally having, our good friends on the show and doing segments prior to that, ripping through I don't know, Maddie C. Memorial to, Impingement City with girls walking around St. Thomas with boots on, and ripping up the Como Zoo for, how depressed are the zoo animals, to, things like Bochella and a live show and releasing what we already mentioned, 120 episodes in 40 weeks. Shit like that just it's incredible because the only people holding each other accountable to continue to do it is each other. No other stakeholders at the end of the day.
No, there are no other stakeholders. That is correct. But I mean, we've had listeners and interns, I should say. We got to stop calling them fucking listeners because they're marketing interns. But we've had marketing interns with us the whole way through. And I think that's going to be the best part about this episode. So if you're listening right now, what you're about to listen to is Andrew and I are going to take call-ins from probably 6, 7, maybe 8 people tonight. And they're going to be calling in, telling us their favorite back pocket memories. And so what Andrew and I did is we went and kind of trying to be smart about who we picked and try to pick different people who have been a part of our journey at different times to kind of highlight or look back on some of the fun moments. And I'm really praying to God that people bring up memories that I totally forgot.
That's what I want to, because there's so much random shit. We got some moms coming on. We got some of our best friends. We got some people that have been following us from kind of afar. People that have joined the show, haven't talked to them in a while. It's like you mentioned, it's a cool diversity of people, and no better way to celebrate the 300 moment of podcasts than to have our listeners talk and bring in our marketing interns. God damn it, our marketing interns. Come in and share their stories, because our marketing interns are tired of us just rambling through the fluff. Like we mentioned last episode, we're big fluff guys, and we could draw out this 300th episode with a hell of a lot of fluff.
We could. And episode 299, we cut the fluff, and it was actually it worked. Like it worked. As fluff guys, as big fluff dependents, it was nice to see that you don't always need the fluff.
You don't always need the fluff, but to catch you up on some other things that we're doing here at the Back Pocket. So, everyone knows about Straight Candid. They are crushing it. Sophie and Sydney are on fire, episode after episode, week after week, putting out great content. And it's so funny to walk the streets of Minneapolis and for people to come up to me and say, how the girls doing? Like, their show's killing it. I've binge listened to 12 episodes in a row. Like, no joke, that's happened time and time again. It's so dope. So kudos to Straight Candid. Continue to do your thing. We're behind the scenes, making sure that they operate at full speeds. And then we got the date night podcast flowing and going. So these are Wednesday nights at First Draft, where we host a date night experience for a blind date, a couple, and maybe your significant other at the time can come on the show, and we host this at First Draft. And we've now recorded 5 of them, and we're going to bulk record until we feel like we got the perfect 10.
Right. Yep. And you used the buzzword binge earlier, and people have been asking us, like, when am I going to be able to listen to these dates? You're not going to be able to until we release it as a season. So we're going to release season 1 of the Date Night podcast at some point, like you said, when we feel like we have a good 10 meaty episodes, then we're going to release it. But for people wondering what the hell is the Date Night podcast, it's exactly in the title of it. It's a date night experience with podcast equipment and beer. So you show up with, like you said, a significant other, a blind date that we can match you with, anything like that. And we will essentially match you up and have you guys run through what like a podcast would be on basically with a date. And then to add into that, we have a host who's going to be asking, fun questions and topics to you and your date to kind of keep the flow of conversation effervescent.
Yes. And let's not forget to mention that we want people to come and perform. This is not your average date. Like these are things and episodes that we're looking for high quality, in the sense of like, we just want you to be loose, energetic, and free flowing. Taylor, our host, Taylor Flood, T-Flow, will, make sure that all the boxes are checked and you guys are comfortable, but you need to come to play, because like Deck mentioned, we're only taking the top 10 episodes after we record a certain amount. If you come and you're just kind of sitting there, looking between your legs, like, it's all right. Like, we'll record it and you'll have a fun time, but it might not get released. And that's just because we're in a game of content and we're looking for
the entertainment era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's good that you bring that up. I think we should probably inform our listeners of a new type of thing that we're doing with the Date Night podcast. So we are going to spice things up a little bit as producers. We want to inject this thing with some buzz and some entertainment. And so what we're thinking of doing, let us know if you like this idea or not. But Andrew and I are thinking of having a like either a girl with 3 different guys or a boy with 3 different girls, and they go speed, and we speed date them, 15, 20 minutes at a time. And then at the end, they pick one to go on a second date with. And we can do this with, like I said, I can either be a guy going on speed date with 3 girls, a girl going on speed date with 3 guys. Regardless, we want to make this happen. So if you want to sign up to go on one of these dates, follow the Date Night Podcast at _DNP. We'll be releasing these quote unquote bachelors or bachelorettes, and you
Our
can
kings and queens.
Our kings and queens, and you could put your name in to a form that we have on our website. Actually, if you go to our website, thebackpocketpodcast.com, you can click to sign up for the Date Night Podcast. You will be eligible to basically sign up for one of these dates. So it's going to get spicy real quick. That first episode, I think we're trying to fire that up on like the 24th, maybe end of February. I'm thinking something like that. End of
February, yes.
End of February. So just be on the lookouts on socials and listening on this podcast. We'll put the form to sign up for the Date Night Podcast and the link of this very podcast in the show notes. But I'm excited, man. We got a lot of fun things coming in 2021 that you and I are just like, let's do it. Why not?
Why not? Let's have a blast doing it, because that's what we always do. And sweet, good plug there. The Date Night Podcast, Straight Candid. Backpocket Productions is full speed. So if anyone else is looking,
we got to tell them, right? What are we, Andrew?
We're a podcast production company, and we're here to help you scale your podcast.
If you believe in the podcast industry, if you believe in yourself, if you want to talk on the mic, we got you. We know everything about podcasting, head to toe, A to Z, right to rumble. We've been doing it. We've done 300 of them. We can say we've done 300 plus podcasts now. And we've been around the block for the last 4 years. We've basically taken a college degree in podcasting. We're ready to be hired.
Hey, cheers to that. And how about we get to our first caller?
We might as well start diving into some memes, huh?
We get some memes going. We're going to start it off with my mom. No one better than Carol and Sarah.
Woo! Oh my gosh, Declan, how are you, my sweet other son?
I'm great, Mom. How are you?
Doing good. Living the life.
Good. I love that. Are you still worried about me?
After beef week or cheek week, I don't worry about you. It's kind of just a maternal thing. I just want you to be happy. And it seems like you're happy.
I'm living the dream. I truly believe that.
You are. And I'm super happy for you. The RV, I don't know how you're doing it.
Hey, you're adding nice mementos to the RV. I do have to show you this. This is the only piece of decor in my RV. And anybody that visits it always has good things to say about it. And they say it's very much me. So I think you capitalized big time on this. For the listeners, this sign says, "I don't think before I speak. I like being just as surprised as everyone else by what comes out of my mouth."
Yep.
You sent this directly to me, I think, for Christmas. So thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
I wish I'd sign the back, but next time when I visit the RV, I'll sign the back.
That is too funny. When you texted me, Mom, to saying like, "Hey, would Declan want this? I think this is him." I started dying laughing because that is Declan.
It's Declan. But that's the beauty of you.
Right. He comes in waves. He comes fully Declan Brown.
Yep.
All the time. And that's why we appreciate you, Decky.
We do, Declan.
Thank you. So Carol, we're honored to have you on the podcast. I think this is your second time on the show. The first time being probably episode like 10. I want to say with Pops.
Actually, it's my third time.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, we called you in.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal segment. I think we got to plug that in, is when we called you and Andrew asked if he was breastfed or formula fed,
yes,
and then told you it was for the 23andMe test, and you just about lost it.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was just at Emerson's having a glass of wine with Mrs. Laney and Mrs. Herb.
Oh, awesome. I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Was I breastfed or was it formula?
You were breastfed.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, there was a question that came up on the 23andMe thing, and I was just curious.
Holy shit! What?
Yeah, I had a Then do you know why? Do you remember why you chose breastfed?
I just thought it was. I don't know. It was healthier for you guys, and it was I breastfed the. Let's see. Trying to think how long. Not very long.
Ooh, okay. Well, breast is best, Mom. Oh, we always remember that.
Breast is best, honey, for sure. It didn't, you with your whole, digestive, gagging whole situation. It wasn't an easy thing, so it wasn't very long.
Yo, you bagged it. You said it's too much. You gave up early.
Totally bagged it because you were killing me. So maybe 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Awesome, Mom. Well, thank you so much. I'll call you back in a little bit.
What are you doing on 23andMe?
I'm trying to learn the ways of my life,
Trying
Mom.
to find siblings out there?
No. Mom, that's not it at all.
Oh my God, you're killing me. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye, Mom.
Love you.
Love you too. Yo, that's my mom.
That was awesome. That was amazing. This is great.
That was gravy, dude.
I just came up with that segment, but I think it's something we all need to have translate.
We're so pro mom.
Yeah.
By the that just needs to be known. Like, I love my mom, and we clearly have like awesome moms.
Well, look at how real our moms get with us.
Yeah.
You know?
away. Right away.
They were handing it out. Damn.
So I knew it was when Stationary Astronaut was on.
Yes.
But of course, time for me, just I have no reference. So I went back and looked, and it was May of 19.
Okay.
So what, almost 2 years ago.
Right.
Right.
And and you were coming out of Emerson's with a couple of your friends, and I couldn't have timed out any better because you just had a great night out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'd had a couple two tree, not sure. And I was just like, oh yeah, Andrew, you were breastfed, and not even thinking for a second that I was being recorded for all of posterity. So yes, I've officially been recorded on the podcast 3 times.
Yes. And let's just confirm I was breastfed for a short period of time because I do have a weak stomach. And let's just keep it at that. We'll end it there because you go back and listen to Stationary Astronaut in May of 2019 if you want to get the dates.
2019. Yeah, that was fun.
But we're happy to have you here for the 3rd time.
Third time for episode 300.
Yes, and you have been with us, obviously, every step of the way,
Oh my gosh.
following from afar, being right next to us in every direction, and we couldn't have figured out a better way to start this episode than with you joining the show to share one of your favorite memories, or maybe a memory where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you pulled this off, something along those lines.
I can't believe you pulled this off. Okay, so I did put a little thought into it, and first I thought you guys, this was a total passing thing. Okay, you started in like February was your first one. Okay.
Yes.
February of 18, because you were
17.
Just graduate. So February of 18. And
17.
I'm like, all right, by the time they graduate, this will be done. So first, let me just say, bravo. I mean, bravo. 300 episodes. You're still killing it. You're moving on to even greater things. So I just think anytime 2 people come together like you guys did and put it together with such passion and fortitude and grit, my favorite word, it's amazing to see. So congratulations. So that being said, there's just some funny things. Your first logo, you 2 actually in a denim back pocket. Okay, that's classic. You have got to somehow incorporate that somewhere for just so everyone that's a newer listener knows that. and your opening music, that is classic.
Yes.
You know,
Too funny. So that logo is actually my jeans, so it's my butt.
Yeah.
And Declan photoshopped us in the little corner of it.
Yes.
And I think we're doing something goofy like this.
It's hilarious. So but that's how it started. And then I think Annie came up with the next one, right?
In the current one, yes.
In the current one. And so she should get a little cred there. Good job, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
But that's just classic. I mean, that is the epitome of two guys pulling a podcast out of their butt, which is, attached to their back pocket. So so that to me just was a sign in some way that of how things were going to go, either south or not. So I love that. Let's see, of course, the breastfeeding with stationary astronaut, I touched on that. But the other thing, and this is certainly on a more serious note, but the way you two brought your community together during the George Floyd protests. That is just such a source of pride for me to look back on for both of you. I just thought you grabbed that with such emotion and grace, and the people you brought on were so unbelievable that they were willing to share their stories so quickly and still in the middle of the protests. And so that is one of my favorites for sure, hands down. That's certainly one of my all-time favorite podcasts.
Which real quick, because we did a few on around the George Floyd
the very first one.
The first one. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, with Io and
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I was so happy that you guys just immediately embraced it and realized the magnitude of it. And it's a part of our history, and you guys lived it and walked it and held hands with your neighbors going through it. And it was a cool thing for you guys to share. And especially for us, being far away, that was great. And I think you guys should really be proud of that, those 2 or 3 weeks. So
awesome.
That was awesome. What else have I got for you? Recently, of course, Mark Dowdle, one of my all-time favorite people in the world, his podcast, going back over his journey with Andrew. I mean, to be honest with you, there are very few of your podcasts that I've really listened from beginning to end. Come on, because they're long. And that's my big thing with you guys. You got to condense it a little, but I'm not a podcast producer. But I try to watch you guys on YouTube because you're so cute, and I just like to see your facial expressions, and I just like to see your faces. And so I watched that one actually, and I watched it at work when I was doing something you shouldn't say, but I could actually watch that and work at the same time. And I loved that. I loved what he had to say. I love how you guys brought his story out and encouraged him to tell his story in a safe place. So that was one that really stood out to me too. And of course, all the times that John's been on, my husband, your dad, Andrew.
Pops.
Because he does have a face for podcasting.
And he did step up this past year and sent us a video every Monday for 52 straight weeks.
I could not believe it.
I couldn't believe it either, because you're right. He is one to shy away from the camera, and he loves to be his way with words is his forte, not the camera, not the selfie, but to him to stick to it for 52 weeks and send us a video. Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah. And he loved it. And how about that last one when he recapped everything?
Oh my gosh, I had no idea that he was taking notes on it the whole time.
I couldn't believe it. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe it. So, he's one that really embraced it has embraced the back pocket, and thank you for dragging him along on the journey too. So
Yes. Well,
it's-
Mom, I do want to say, and this is Declan and I saying this together, thank you for constantly supporting us and pushing us to be better people throughout this journey. We wouldn't be here without you. You've supported us through and through, and always, been an ear for a piece of advice, or to, maybe poke at us and be like, hey guys, I don't know if that's something you should be putting out. So thank you for being the mother of our podcast.
Well, it is an honor. It is an honor, and I love it, and I love watching you guys, and I love watching this whole thing. I loved watching it give birth to it, and watch it grow. So bravo, you guys are killing it. Congratulations, and keep doing you. Keep loving me, hopefully, because I love you.
We'll still love you. Don't worry.
Stay safe. Be kind.
All right. Love you, Mom.
Bye.
Bye.
You kicking me out?
Yep.
Kick me out.
I'm leaving. All right, wait. I'm still here.
Ty Webb, how are we, brother?
What's up, boys?
How's it going, dude?
It's going well. How are you guys?
Great. I love your wall lights in the background, buddy.
I had to set the ambiance for the evening.
You look great, man. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Man, it feels like it's been a long time. Not for Andrew. I see his lovely face every single morning, but Decky, it's been a while. But I see you in like 4K right now. It's incredible.
Hey, look, we got the cam link set up officially, ready to rip, and
Yeah.
I set it up in about 15 minutes. And obviously for the people who don't know, intern Ty Webb, kid's an absolute stud. You are our second intern.
Yep.
And obviously one of our best friends, and host of the Swipe Up podcast and many other things. You now have a LLC named after you. You got all kinds of things that where you're moving up and to the right. But thinking through my setup, and as we were going through in the nice kind gesture that you gave me just now, reminds me when we first got the capture cards and we were sitting in the dining room trying to figure out how these capture cards and all this live streaming stuff worked. And we spent like $400 on all this equipment, only to find out that we bought the wrong equipment. The computer we were trying to use was never going to work. And we were a lot further away from doing this kind of stuff than we thought.
Yeah, I think the best part of that was when we started to realize that whoever computer we were trying to use wasn't going to work. And we had to get on the phone with the Elgato support guy, and he was just like, "Dude, what are you trying to do?" Like he shamed us so hard into thinking that we could have ever set this up correctly. I don't think I've ever felt that bad in my life.
Too funny, because I'm still struggling to figure it out today, and that's been your guys' forte. And Ty, you were with us for the bulk, our biggest year probably in podcasts, when we released 120 of them. So we could not have done that without you. So we just got to say real quick, thanks for guiding us and being there every step of the way to produce these things, because sheesh, 120 of them by ourselves. So I don't think that would have been possible.
Of course. And I think, I reflect very fondly on those days when we were in the very small studio, and now you guys, of course, have since gotten to the bigger studio, and it was fun to see that transition. But I couldn't have believed at the time that all of those people I'd met, and it was, I'm trying to think through them all, but like all the people that I've met that I just sat there for, turning a camera back and forth on a tripod, like a lot of those people have actually played out to be kind of formidable, like they've mattered in my life, which is crazy. Like Jordy Lindell, we have the podcast together. We actually do a lot of business together now, which is awesome. Io, he was there for the episode. I remember he brought some sort of brown hard alcohol that I just kind of choked on while we were doing the episode. I'm like, I got to drive home. I can't drink that much, but I work with him now on Line of Scrimmage. So it's like so many really cool people that I met, which at the time I was just kind of like, I'm not doing much here, but just turning the camera back and forth. But it's awesome. And I reflect so fondly on those days, and I'm so fortunate that I had that experience.
100%. And I think one of the cooler things that you did and continue to do is, you're really good at showing gratitude, and you're really good at connecting with people. And I think one thing that you did that was so awesome was you wrote us a letter, and I think that was like what, about a year after we started work. I can't remember when you wrote it, but I just remember you wrote us a letter, and it was like that was like the coolest thing ever, to have like an intern of yours like care so much about being so grateful for the opportunity that you like voiced it that much.
Yeah, because I think what ended up happening was I had the very first podcast I ever did, How They're Here. I had you guys on like the second episode, and I just wrote to you guys thanking you, because at the time I think I was not then working with you as an intern, but just thanking you for sort of helping me get launched onto this whole scene that it felt like you guys had really created, and I just talked about all those people that I now do business with and I now work with, which is really, really cool. And it's like this ecosystem that I felt like you guys built and introduced me to. I was just so grateful for that. And it was just like so awesome that a random email one night kind of led me to where I am now. And I really do think that there's a pretty linear A to B connection between, meeting you guys for the very first time and kind of doing what I'm doing now. So it's very fortunate.
Dude, the spider web between the three of us is fucking hilarious. I mean,
it's insane. I mean, it's got to be one of the most like weirdly connected, and then just like, it's the best too, because then anytime you need something, it's like, I know I have two guys where I'm like, if I don't know somebody, these two guys have to know somebody to do whatever I need. It's like, it's crazy. You're right.
I mean, and you mentioned right off the bat how you see my ugly mug every morning. I don't know if I told you, Deck, but Ty works with Caleb and I full time now. And he's absolutely crushing it. He's taking a load off our shoulders. And he gets to listen to Caleb's, hour-long montages that he loves so much.
We've got him down a little bit. We've got him down a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what you did between this last summer, because another example of me tapping into your guys' network was last summer, my internship got canceled. I reach out to Andy and I'm like, do you got a spot for me doing Facebook ads? Like, I know nothing about Facebook ads, but you got a spot for me? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so you and Caleb are super great for that. But between then and now, I don't know what you told Caleb, but those meetings went from like 2 hours to now he's trying to get him under a half an hour. I don't know if you like inject him with something, but it's great.
His empirical ass is always just trying to get a little bit better every second.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right.
So we got to ask you if there's anything else that you want to share, like favorite memory, something that sticks out to you from being surrounded by Backpocket.
My favorite memory. Well, I'd have to say the live show was probably one of the cooler things I was a part of. And I think it really was it felt like the culmination of all the work that I've been doing with you guys, because from like a technical capability, I'm pretty sure you could have put a monkey in my seat in those early days and trained it to swivel a camera back and forth. Right. But I think the more and more we sort of evolved in like what my responsibilities were, and all of a sudden I would bring my own microphone so I could start contributing. And then, we got to the point where we were hooking up things in the studio where we could play clips on the TV, and then we could, I brought my own camera. So now we had two cameras, and then we went to the cam links and like all this sort of stuff. The live show kind of felt like just a cool combination of like, it felt official and it felt real, and it felt like, we were working towards that moment. And then that was really, really cool. And then of course I still have the certificate of marketing intern of the year, which is next to my college diploma now, one of my crowning achievements in life. And that was just a super cool memory, just to see all those people that we had met, because at the same time that you guys were bringing really cool people into your house, it was always kind of awkward for me, because I was just kind of like standing up in the room, like setting up. It was like, hi, I'll just be sitting here and probably not contributing that much. But it was always like, just so cool. And it was so cool to see the support that the community had, even for somebody like me, who I wasn't the focal point of what we were doing.
Yes, dude. What makes me it makes me reflect on all the shit that we just didn't care, that we never knew, and we were just going to try it anyways and see if it worked and if we could figure it out. Like, you just walking through that, I've forgotten half of the shit that we now know how to do seamlessly, but we had never even tried. And it was already after doing these podcasts for 2 years. Like the shit that we just keep building and adding to this giant masterpiece of Backpocket is hilarious. And I mean, you walk through just a couple small things, but it's too funny. I love that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I know that you guys now have your hands on less of the day-to-day stuff. You know, I know like Lauren helps you out with a lot of the social stuff, and you have a team, your podcast production company now, not just a podcast. But I remember like in those earlier days, I would like come and you'd be like, Ty, you got to see this piece of content I put together. And it was just like those little wins on a daily basis of like, you got to see this content I put together is awesome. And it was just like seeing that kind of spark for something that at the time felt really trivial, and maybe now look back seems like trivial, one piece of content. It was just really, really inspiring. And even if I wasn't feeling like coming that day, or even if I was like tired or hungry or whatever it was, staying a little longer than I wanted to, it was always like I had an energy when I left that I didn't have when I came, and that was always really awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude, that is awesome. I mean, it's fun to reflect, and it's just so fun to remember things that you once forgot, and it just continues to reiterate the fact that like all three of us just really give a shit. Like we really care, and we had so much, like looking back at those moments, those small little things have so much strength behind them. And hey, it only is the beginning for the three of us, and you know, it's to the moon, man. It's to Mars.
It's awesome.
Awesome, Ty. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming on and sharing those stories. Really fucking firing me up again, dude. Talk about that energy, dude. I'm riding on all cylinders after that.
Do you think Andrew looked like Aaron Rodgers? Real quick, yes or no?
He with a lot less hair. Aaron Rodgers is going the opposite direction of you. He's growing his hair out right now, and you're reeling back a little bit, obviously. Right.
There's no hair there.
I respect both decisions, but I'm just saying you're going opposite directions right now.
Yeah, makes sense. Adds up.
No, I see it.
All right, Ty. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Love you,
Take care. See you guys.
So next on the block, we got Austin Dummer. Was he our first ever marketing intern spotlight?
Yep.
Yes, first ever marketing intern spotlight, Austin Dummer.
Gentlemen,
How are we?
how we doing, boys?
God, it's been forever.
It's been a minute.
Dude, how the hell are you living the life in San Diego?
I'm certainly jealous of the camera quality that we got here in the RV back in Minnesota, and I'm working with something out of the 90s. I mean, this is embarrassing here.
I would assume you were going to hook up maybe your camera that
You know some of the folks like Jordan Lundell and everybody who's got that kind of knack for doing that. I need to catch up to that. Absolutely. I'm working with the old work laptop here. This is crazy.
And here's what I'll say, Austin, and that's where we come in.
There you go. What's new, guys?
Oh, we're celebrating episode 300 here, bringing on people that have helped us get to where we are today.
Yeah.
Dude,
300 episodes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, if you were to guess what episode number you are, do you think you could figure that out or think of it off the top of your head?
It was what, first season? Yeah, right? I'm going to go with 25.
I want to say it was 89.
Okay.
So we started bringing you on when we added an additional podcast. You were the first time we recorded 2 in a week.
Okay. Then that would make sense. Yeah.
For clarification, you came on twice, episode 59 and episode 93.
59 and 83?
Yeah. So you were the first time, Andrew was just alluding to this, you were the first time where we released a second episode where we specifically interviewed a listener of the show. And we called it at the time the Marketing Intern Spotlight, given the fact that the marketing intern is a listener. And you unlocked something in us that helped us triple down into the next year in 2019, which was dominate the sandbox, get on these listeners and these people. The reason why these episodes are so powerful, so relatable is because, well, we're friends and we know you and you know us. And that cohesion totally sent us into a new realm.
Well, damn, you made that sound really nice. So what you're telling me is you guys had the great idea. I was the guinea pig and it worked out. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is correct.
I like it. Yeah,
So,
you guys definitely went down that path that, I mean, people don't really have an out in any other kind of podcast where they actually could be just a fan and be brought on to talk about whatever interests and things they're into. So yeah, it was a fantastic idea. I was happy to be given the chance to come on and talk with you guys. It was great.
So I got to ask, we're bringing people on throughout the next, 2 hours probably, of your favorite Backpocket memory. So you've been with us since you were actually our first ever sponsor. with MB Outdoors. I know that clothing brand is now closed, but I'm sure it was a phenomenal experience, and you can talk at length about that. But we'd love to hear what your favorite back pocket memory is.
That's a good question. You know, I want to go with something I feel really bad that I missed out on, because you guys do such a good job of sharing the content. Your boat parties, I feel like I have the biggest FOMO coming out of that. So if that's just like the one memory that I didn't get a chance to be a part of, it's your boat parties. You guys look like it's your own Hugh Hefner moment out on the Mississippi. It's awesome. I love it.
There's 2 instructions I need you to follow.
We're getting right to it.
When I say red light, I need you to stop. When I say green light, I need you to go.
Red light. Green light.
Now when the strobe light hits, I want you to move like this. Now when the strobe light hits, I want you to move like this.
Oh, Boatchella, bringing it full circle, man. Those things
Yes.
are a fun time. Hey, if anyone's thinking about coming to the next one in Austin, of course you got the invite. What is it, Decky? July 24th?
That's correct. July 24th, 2021 in Stillwater, Minnesota. Tickets have not released yet, but just know that that's the date. Mark your calendars.
You guys upgrading the boat size? You got more people?
No,
We're hoping that COVID's gone by then, which naturally will upgrade the capacity. So last year we had 220 in the midst of the pandemic, and I feel like this year we can have 500.
So next year it's going to be one of the giant, like Louisiana Tom Sawyer cartwheel style ferries that you're going to be renting out, like a big boy, right?
You're going to see a big yacht pretty much. This thing, we're going to do the same boat, but it had limited capacity. It was like 50% capacity.
Wow.
We want to make sure we can open up the floodgates this time around.
Right on, boys. I like to hear it.
That's sweet. So I would love to just hear, I guess, just a little bit about MB Outdoors, because I know you told me about it earlier today, shutting the business down and everything, but like, what was some big learning aspect or positive takeaway you had from it?
Yeah, from the very get-go, myself and Bryce, who is the other owner, we knew from the get-go that we wanted to not really make a splash that would be on a competitive level with any brand that you might be able to purchase or you see on Instagram or anything like that. We just really wanted to be like, hey, we've never started a business. We went through the normal business classes in college, marketing classes. I went into marketing for my career, but we wanted to be like, let's challenge ourselves in a bit. Let's see if we can do anything with this and kind of get some clothes and hats and sweatshirts on our friends. And over the 2 years, beyond just all the things of inventory, supply and demand and sales and all this other stuff that comes into play that we really had jumped right into, it was an opportunity for us to be like driven towards something else besides just making the paycheck at work. It was like, what can we do outside of our day-to-day and at nighttime to kind of just keep fueling a little bit of the learning and education within ourselves? So we both came out of it with that. I by no means am taking away from the fact that it was great to get lots of hats and shirts and stuff out there that we still ourselves wear and friends wear. But yeah, it was just the learnings out of doing something that we never wanted to go another drinking night and say, what if we had started a brand? We did it. It was fun. Got the sweatshirts safe, to speak to it. And so I would say that was the biggest learning coming out of it.
Yeah, that's special, man. And I can truly say that Decky and I used you as a resource right when we got off and running, as we're still in that same boat where, this is something that fills us up. It fills up our back pocket time and time again, because of how much enjoyment we get from it. We didn't want to be sitting 4 years from, or 4 years looking now, 4 years from down the line saying, oh, we shoulda, woulda, coulda type of thing. So thank you for being like our guiding light in those early days, being that first sponsor, and then also just like giving us piece of advice to how to start an LLC. Like, you were part of those conversations.
Well, hey, you guys took it and you made the professional league. I might have just stuck a little bit in the amateurs, but I am glad to see you guys get to this. This is you've really elevated. I mean, to probably even beyond just like Instagram followers and stuff. Your quality, the folks you're having on here. I mean, you guys have really built something that's really commendable and awesome to see. So, no reason to give me the props. You all did it yourselves. It's great.
Hey, I appreciate that. Well, Austin, we do want to make sure that we shout out Jackie because she has also been a pivotal person throughout our journey. Jackie Dummer, Austin's mom, and a huge supporter of the Back Pocket. And can't forget about Jack Chicken 007. The Dummer family, full and full. You guys are tremendous and appreciate everything.
It's a wacky clan of characters I'm proud to be a part of. Gotta love each one for who they are. And love mom, love my brother. Glad to get the shout out.
Well,
Awesome.
I'm coming to visit you in San Diego. We're gonna go surf sometime.
You need to do it, man. I am by no means a Kelly Slater, but I am a wannabe John Florence. I don't drink as much seawater as I probably did when I started. So come on out here and let's do it. Let's do it.
Amen to that. Austin, thank you so much for joining the show. We appreciate you sharing those stories.
Been a pleasure, boys. Best of luck. We'll talk with you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Next on the docket is Paige Boner, the host of It's Hard podcast.
Hey, Paige, look at her setup. Let's go.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Decky, you guys' cameras look so good. How did you do that?
We got to show you. You got to. Do you have a DSLR or like a nicer Sony or Canon type?
No.
All right.
All my
we'll
money
talk
went to this
offline.
baby.
Hey, yeah, congrats on the new mic. It's a little better than the R2D2 one you had earlier.
You know, Chode had to he retired.
Got a little burnt out.
Yeah, he actually did. Like he really did just stop working. So, you know.
Well, look, it opened the floodgates for what looks like a very professional setup.
You know, we had to move up in the world. Season 2, baby. Had to happen.
Proud of you, Paige. It's so fun. I thought I think I texted you like midnight last night. I apologize for buzzing you, but
It's okay.
when we were going through different people to kind of bring on and highlight throughout this episode 300, just recalling fun memories and stuff. One of my favorite memories is when you and Anna Falk came over and we literally hopped on the mics, recorded it, never released it, but just wanted to record it and document a conversation of, hey, I really want to start this podcast. And to see you now in season 2 of It's Hard, I mean, that says it all right there. And I'm just so excited that we were a part of the birth, even before the birth. We were part of the conception of It's Hard.
You guys were there for the conception. It's amazing. So good.
So share us a little bit with what's going on. Like, how is the podcast going? You're in season 2. Just give us a quick synopsis for every listener. Maybe want to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, to start too, just back to what Declan is talking about on that night in your guys' little room upstairs in your house. And I just came over and It's Hard was totally just an idea. I didn't even have a name, like nothing. I was just like, I think I want to do this. And you guys pretty much said, get a mic, put it on a table and do it. And that's where Chode came from. So shout out to the OG mic. And I just did it. I went for it, recorded with my parents right away. I came up with the logo and the name the night after I saw you guys, which was awesome. And it is a play on words with my last name too. So just a lot of penis jokes, honestly, in this part right now, which isn't good, but here we are. But now we're in season 2 and it has just been so incredible. Like, even just my personal, like how comfortable I feel on the mic. I remember the first time I ever recorded something, I was like, I cannot do this. I have no idea what I'm saying. And now I can record things on my own and feel good. I've talked to a bunch of different people, lots of different backgrounds and stories. Ultimately, the goal is just to have authentic conversations that allow people to learn, grow, and feel less alone in what they're going through. So officially a mental health podcast. That's kind of where I've established myself now. So if you like to have a little bit of fun and talk about mental health, which is obviously something we all struggle with at some capacity, then come listen to It's Hard.
Love that. that it's just been fun to see you grow within your first season now into your second. And it's also been fun to feed you guests. I would like to know who your favorite guests of the ones that we've provided. Because I think I've tried to shoot you ones that I think would be good. I don't know if some have been flops, some have been disasters. But I'd love to hear your experience of us trading off or exchanging and networking.
Yeah, no, that's been such a cool part too of just, I think to speak on that a little bit, what I love about like Minnesota and our community and just each other is that it's not competitive as much as it's like lifting each other up and really encouraging one another. And that's something you guys do such a great job at. And especially with me as I grow. And in the first season, you sent me a couple guests, which was so awesome. I mean, the first season, I think my favorite was definitely Khadijah Cooper. She is just amazing and hilarious and so smart. I absolutely love her. And then this season, it hasn't even released yet, but I did record with Antonio Sundquist. And he is so great. We're actually going to start doing like monthly mental health chats because we just really could have talked for probably like 4 hours. I heard he talked to you guys for like 3 hours. So I loved him. Absolutely. So those are probably my top two favorites, but I can't overstep like Katie Sir and all the other ones. I mean, they were just it was so many great conversations. Honestly, I loved them all.
That is incredible because you're right. It's not competitive. We're trying to help each other out and allow each other to flourish because we're helping you, who is also going to help Khadijah and Lisa Evanson and you name it. Them coming on and sharing these stories from all these places is only helping each other at the end of the day, which that's all we're trying to do is, bring out our names and what we're doing and hopefully to make someone feel better, make someone laugh, make someone feel inspired, and all of the things in between. I am stoked that you got to talk to Antonio too, because you two could be a two-headed monster with what you're trying to get after and what Antonio is, his core principles. I think that's really dope. But I got to ask, with this all being said, what is your favorite back pocket memory, something that you might have seen us do or been a part of, and over the last 4 years? Do you have a story you'd like to share?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's so many. I mean, this isn't the first part that I think of isn't really back pocket, but I just remember when I first met you guys my freshman year and it was my birthday and I didn't know you guys were shit and you were like 2 years older than me and all of you saying happy birthday to me. And I was like, these guys are cool. You guys probably don't even remember that, but it was like my freshman year and I'm like, these juniors on the football team are singing happy birthday to me. Of course, I thought it was so fucking cool. And then, but like my favorite back pocket memory was probably last year's Halloween party when me and a couple of my friends came and it was just so fun. I mean, Declan's 70s costume just gets me every time. The goddamn platform shoes just kill me. But also that was the night that I met Mark Dowdle, who's like now one of my dearest friends. And we had just such a great conversation. And that was right before It's Hard was born too. And he just has been such a great supporter. I remember I was in like a giraffe costume and we were having this like really intense conversation. And I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever done right now. So that's probably the first thing that comes to my mind is just the way that you guys get people together. And then it fosters so many cool relationships that like flourish into so many different things. Cause then I met Austin Yoakum and it's like, wow, how cool that you guys really did kind of start that all with the way you get people together.
That's amazing. I love that. And yeah, to touch on that story of you talking with Mark Dowdle, if to set the scene, it's like after Yam House just performed in our backyard and we brought all the speakers inside because of the noise ordinance and we're blaring music and people are just absolutely hammered. And in the nook of one of the rooms of like in the midst of everyone dancing is probably Paige and Mark talking about mental health and all kinds of just things because you two could just talk each other off the rails. And what's so damn cool is literally last week we're skiing in Vail and it was a nicer day out, bluebird day, 40 degrees. Everyone's wearing just like a sweatshirt, and I see Mark Dowdle wearing the custom-made It's Hard pink sweatshirt, and I couldn't smile any more than I was.
He is just great.
Honestly. And he was
honestly.
tomahawking down the mountain. Like, kid was, I'll put the video in, but there's literally a video of Mark tomahawking down the hill in your sweatshirt. It's pretty fucked up.
Hey, I told him to take care of that sweatshirt. He's not listening.
No, he's taking good care of it by wearing the shit out of it.
That's amazing. He also made me run a 5K recently where he proceeded, well, he didn't make me, but we did run one with Andrew. I was, I lapped you guys, you know, I might have came in last, but it was because I had to take, you know, one extra lap and just go around you guys. I'm not slow or anything. But he not only had me run the 5K, but then proceeded to like talk my ear off the entire time. So I would blame him for how slow I was, because I was like having to have a full on like intense conversation with him while trying to run around Lake Calhoun. So just imagine that for a second.
That's incredible. Hey, and what's really cool is our next guest coming on the show is Mark Dowdle. So I think you should stick around for a second, and then let's just yell at him a little bit for maybe tomahawking in your sweatshirt and not treating it well.
I'm so excited to see him.
Look who we have here. We have ourselves the good-looking man, Mark Dowdle.
It worked.
Yes. With us.
Mark, I got to ask you, do you have something covering up the microphone on your laptop? Like a piece of paper?
No, I don't.
Okay, no, you already sound better.
Sound way better, though.
I'm holding it now. Holding it.
Right on. So we had to have Paige stick around for a sec, because we were just talking about you bulleting down the mountain this past weekend, rocking the new and improved vintage sweatshirt.
I was definitely rocking it. It was I rocked it on the day where it was warmest, so I didn't need an overcoat, so I could just rock the It's Hard to the whole mountain.
Oh,
it was great. It was great. It was the best item I brought with me on the trip, and it was fantastic. I don't know how other people interpreted it when they're like, oh, it's hard, with no context of like the podcast or anything, but it was like, this is what it's all about. It's wrapping It's Hard with no context.
I love it. I love it. I was telling them, I was like, I told him to handle that with care, and I don't know about tomahawking down the mountain, if that sounds like handling it with care.
So it says you have to hand wash it, or you told me you got to hand wash it.
Mm-hmm.
I wore it for about a month and a half or whatever, and then it sat in my hamper for another month, and I was like, there's no way I'm hand washing this thing. So I threw it in the wash and just put it on delicates, and it turned out great. Turned out great.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, me not gonna hand wash anything. I can't believe you'd expect me to hand wash it.
You know, I can't believe I did either.
Yeah, but you know, if it comes apart, I'll just have to buy another one.
Exactly.
That's okay.
We'll make you another one.
I would like to give some context to this hand woven sweatshirt, because you bought like a pink sweatshirt from like what, Target or something, and then your mom wove them in.
Yeah, she embroidered it.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. She actually did it with this one too that I'm wearing for my nephew. It's for his heart condition, so he has a little heart on the sweatshirt.
Oh,
she's an embroider queen.
Mark, we were just talking about how you and Paige, did you meet for the first time at the Halloween party where Yam House played? So that was the first time you two met, was at our Halloween party in 2019.
Yep.
Yeah.
First time ever. Our friendship blossomed.
I believe you were an alien. Were you an alien that night?
No.
Someone was an alien.
I was a giraffe.
Oh, that's right.
Giraffes can be taken for aliens. Those things got some crazy long necks. Let's be honest here.
I was wearing 2 buns on top of my head, so you were close.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we just wanted to have you stick around for a sec, Paige, because the full circle moment of this. But hey, thank you so much for coming on and sharing
Yes.
how you've grown and how all of our communities have helped each other. We appreciate it.
Yes, can't wait to keep growing together. It's awesome. And you guys keep doing what you're doing. Happy 300. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So awesome. It's so good to see all you guys. I will see you all soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Bye.
Boys.
Phenomenal.
What's
Mark.
up, dude?
Your guys' picture looks phenomenal. You guys look crystal clear.
Hey, we're a podcast production company. We need to know how to produce high definition Zoom call podcasts.
Yeah.
So if anyone's out there looking for it, you've heard now like 6 people say that we've had crystal clear HD.
Yeah, you look good. You look
good. Hey, and you look good too, Mark. And I love to hear and tap into because you've listened to damn near every one of our episodes. I'd love to hear one of your more unique memories or things in the past 300 episodes and the last 4 years.
Yeah, so I was going back today and listening to some of the really old. You got to go digging for these ones because I knew it would be hard to pinpoint like one specific moment that would encapsulate the back pocket. And I wanted to go into my John and Sarah type mindset. And so what I did is I went back and I looked at the Mark Amicks, the Greg Ebashers, the Steve Harrells. I just looked at really the initial core of Backpocket and what it was. And I went back to listen to those because early on, like I was in a part of your initial core group of guys, which I feel like I have become a part of. And so learning more about what the initial core was like was like, all right, let's see how it started and how it's manifested. And the one moment that speaks to moments across the entire podcast is when Greg Ebasher, he said, you guys asked him, what does it mean to be a marketing intern? Okay. And I have it written down here. He says, to me, being a marketing intern means I get to support 2 of my best friends doing what they love that's actually making a difference in the world. And that moment encapsulates everything that the Back Pocket was and is today, minus 2 words. I guess maybe 1 word. 2. The Back Pocket it started with you 2, but now Back Pocket has grown to more than just you 2. But ultimately, it's the same mindset of Back Pocket is supporting your best friends doing what they love and knowing that it's making a difference in the world around us. And I thought that was so cool because it was like from the very beginning, that might have been episode like 30. Episode 30, you talk about Back Pocket being just a group of people. And some of the things I wrote down was like organic growth through a community of people that love, of people doing a bunch of random shit. Okay. You know, I went back, I looked at the Charlie Dowdle episode, and you can just hear Mark Amick and Jordan Roberts in the background screaming and swearing, playing NHL, you know? And then you got the Matt Herron episode where you guys are debating process versus results, shirtless in your freaking old house. Like, it's just a bunch of random shit. But the thing that has stayed true through it all is it's just a group of people that care deeply about each other, that are doing all these different things, but are supporting each other through and through. And I think that really came through in the hot tub when we were in Beaver Creek, talking to those guys that we were just like, we're just a bunch of goofballs. And then when you actually told them what each of us were doing, you could see them like, whoa, these guys aren't actually jokes. They just like to have fun. They love each other. You can tell that, but they're actually doing some really cool stuff. And to see that them, like they had their 2 high school kids with them. And at first they're like, do not end up like these guys. And by the end of it, they're like, oh wait, maybe you do want to be like these guys.
Yeah, what's your name, dude? I'll follow you right now. I was like, it's Decky West Coast. And they're like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll remember that. He's like walking out of the tub, like going back to his place, like Decky West Coast.
Yeah.
Decky West Coast. Decky West Coast. No, that dude, you said it perfectly. And so Greg Ebosher, for anyone that wants to go back and listen to that episode, we'll probably put a clip in, but it's episode 108. And then you met like those that, I mean, the hair was standing up on my arms. I think I saw Andrew tear up a little bit, but like, dude, that is so powerful, and it covers it covers so much. Like, and it shows that like time after time after time, when, you know, we have these elusive thoughts of, hey, we need to niche down if we're gonna make this happen and if it's gonna make it work. And it's like, no, if you follow your heart, you follow your friends' hearts, and you support them in that, and you grow this community about care through simply caring about the person who's across from you, and you get special moments. And I think you said it perfectly, man.
Dude, you absolutely crushed it. I teared up. I sometimes forget like the amount of impact that we can have to the people that are closest to us. It means a lot, and I can't. I can struggle to put words together. I am stunned at how much support endlessly has come from those around us, and then it goes back and it comes full circle both ways. It's really incredible, and so the way that you worded that.
You know, it's funny because I go back and I wanted to focus today on you guys, because like you go back and you listen to Mark Amick's first episode, and he talks about how all he wants to do is he's questioning himself, right? It's really a community of people that are fucking questioning themselves at so many levels. You go back and you listen to Mark Amick's first episode, and he's sitting studying for his exams in his first year, and he's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I going through this? And he sits down and writes in his iPad, and he writes down his why. And his why is just, why do I want to do what I want to do, and who do I want to do it for? And he talks about how all of the people like you guys are in his back pocket, and he's doing all these things because he wants to help athletes, and he wants to give this service to other people. And then you look at him today, he's a couple months maybe out of, or maybe not even that, out of being done with his school. And he's like doing that. Like he's on the path to doing that. And Andrew, like a selfish scenario is like, when I just came out of school and I was like so lost of like, what do I want to do? I have some sort of direction, but I don't know what I want to do with it. Like you took the time to sit down with me at the Lowry and just shoot the shit for an hour and a half. Like you don't understand. And I should rephrase it. I think you do understand, but you won't understand at the full length because it's impossible to know at the level that you guys impact and this community impacts, because it's not just like you in that situation helping me. It's the fact that you helped me and now I'm going to go help someone else. And now like like an Austin Yoakum is going to go team up with an Andrea Toppin, and like all these people that have come to the center, like you guys talk about the spoke and the hub, and the hub is the back pocket, and you have all these different spokes coming out. You don't know what spoke is going to talk to what other spoke because they're connected to the back pocket community. And that is so like, it's changed my fucking life. It is. And you guys did it because you guys did something when other people were just like, they're just trying to be like, pardon my take. And they're just trying to, they don't know what they're doing. They're kind of goofy. Like, and you guys said, fuck it, we're just going to keep doing it. And like, look at what has come of it. And like, it's just like dude, I write about it all the time. Like, I write about how grateful I am for you guys and for this community and for this group of friends. Cause it's like, fuck, where else do you find that? Like, where else do you find people that totally allow you to be you in all your flaws and all your greatness and everything? Like, I wrote the other day, like, this community doesn't just read a chapter from your story. They look at the full story and they do it, and they don't judge you on it. They accept you for all your flaws and for everything that you are. And as long as you come in with a smile and you're ready to just be a part of something that you don't even know what it is, but you know it's great because the feeling that you get from it, we're freaking ready to bring you in. Like, there's no limit. There's no bouncer at the door saying, hey, sorry, we've reached our limit. No, we're always seeking more. We're always seeking to bring more people in. And I think that is so powerful because it's like, it's endless opportunities of perspectives and opportunities and people to just impact. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
I think
I'm so thankful for you guys.
Dude, thank you. And I just want to say, before we let you go here, like, I love you, man. And it's not just Andrew and I who care deeply about you. And it's not just, we're not just genuinely trying to make you a better person each day. It's like, there's another spoke out there that you're either going to help them and give them that same type of belief, or you're going to have it done unto you. And I think that is the biggest part about this whole thing. So thank you, brother.
I love you guys.
I appreciate you, Mark, and thanks for those words, man. You really tugged at my heart. And I had my Jimmy V moment. I laugh, I cry, I celebrate what's happening around me. So thank you, dude.
You're welcome. One last thing I noticed from going back that hasn't changed is anytime you guys say that you're gonna throw a clip in, like, I'll throw a clip in there, and like, well, like Marcus or Sam will throw a clip in there. Never happens.
Come on.
Absolutely never happens. There's never a clip that gets thrown in there.
It's gonna get fucking thrown in, dude. It's gonna get thrown in this episode. So
throw it in. Throw in the Ebosher quote. Throw it in there, baby.
Thank you, Mark. Love you, brother.
All right. Love you guys.
Appreciate it. All right. Next on the dock, we got Lori Harrell, Steve's mom. Oh, she is going to be a riot. She is also another person that has been with us every step of the way. So we'd like to welcome Lori Harrell, mother of Steve, our first ever producer. And now we have the opportunity to have you on the show. I don't know if we've ever had Lori on the show. Have we called her in?
Dude, I don't know. She maybe like episode like 9. I'll have to look it up, but I don't know. I think
Lori, are you there?
I am, but I can't see.
Wait, can we see your beautiful face?
No.
Was that a no? Is like you don't want to show us, or you can't figure it out?
No, I can't figure. Okay, so how do I?
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. It's the
There you
There
go.
it
Yes.
There you go. How are you guys?
Oh, we're fantastic.
Great.
So good to see you.
So good to see you. I'm glad you figured the camera and the audio out seamlessly. Like, that's a massive achievement. We're proud of
Didn't
you.
take too long.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys? I miss you guys. I pop into your podcast once in a while when I have time, and you guys are great. You guys are great.
We thank you for that, and we thank Steve for being, you know, a pivotal moment in those earliest days,
On the earliest,
behind the scenes, making sure
Yes.
that no one was clicking their pen and doing something weird in the background. Steve was there.
and that's what he's good for.
I think it's funny because, you know, this whole episode we've been taking calls for, you know, different, you know, what's your favorite back pocket memory and this, that, and the other. And I think, you know, before we ask you that question, I think one thing that you tell me and Andrew often is you are so thankful for us to be friends with you. And that dates all the way back to before Backpocket was even born.
Do you know that it was just a week ago that I told this story, and who was it to? It was to somebody who was random, and they said, "Oh, that's the neatest story." I said, "My son has the best friends ever. I don't want him back in Milwaukee because I would never want him to leave his friends." So I still tell that story.
That's phenomenal. Yes. And we just had Mark Dowdle come on the show, and he was just sharing that exact thing of how friends around us and the extended people that each one of us have touched, such like people like Steve, and just helped them be a little bit better, or has influenced Steve to be a little bit better. It's such a mutual give and take thing. And I want to ask you, Lori, has there been a moment in particular with Backpocket that you remember that kind of can bring this full circle, whether it's a favorite memory or something that's been along the lines with Steve being a part of the show or whatnot?
Well, yeah, when he was a part of the show. I mean, you know, when he was back in the day when he was playing football and he had these great stories to tell, and you know, you gotta know, back in high school, we never thought Steve would amount to anything. We just, seriously, and I tell him that. He was just lazy. He was unmotivated, and I can't even tell you. And so it took me some years to finally get to see who Steve grew into. And I'm still like thumping myself going, is this really Steve? And is this going to continue to be Steve? So, I mean, just watching him talk about, and the fact that he could carry on a conversation, okay? How many young men can actually talk to a human being without, yep, maybe, okay? He just grew so much with you guys, and it was fun watching him. So I thank you.
I love that. And like I said, it's fun been getting to know Steve, but it's also been like fun to look back and on like the whole football days and everything, and how just like the community originally culminated itself. And you know, it obviously like this podcast isn't possible without St. Thomas football and the morning workouts, and Andrew and I grinding on the scout team together and becoming best friends, and like wanting to start the podcast. And like that's literally where it all started, was like when we came up with the idea to want to start the podcast. It was like, well, I want a co-host to do it with, and I want to find someone who I can trust, and I want to find someone who's accountable, and someone who that we already had that gist was with Andrew, because we had already been playing football together and whatnot. But I think Andrew, and you said it best, was like, there's so much of this love that it extends from my parents to your parents, Andrew's parents to you. Like those days of the football, Tommy football tailgates, and everything culminating from that I'll always remember that.
The story again that I tell people when I go up there, Steve's like, yeah, come to the party, Mom. Come to my friend's party. They all want you to hang out. And people go, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, it is surreal. Who wants their moms to hang out? Come on, seriously. I can tell you about 9 boys whom I love and who are just, every parent means as much to them as they do to their own. It's so cool. Never have I experienced that.
It's awesome. And with that, we've been able to, you know, take away things from each person and put it in our back pocket and allow it to help us when pressure becomes stress and anxiety is rising. So Lori, I'd like to ask you to maybe share with our listeners, what's in your back pocket? What's something that you carry around to allow yourself to overcome tough situations?
Wow. There's a lot. That's a loaded question. I've been helping Steve out. He's been going through some little decision making in his adult years. And my phrase to him always is, and I don't mean to be spiritual, but I'm going to. God knows where he wants you. I mean, I say that more than I probably think that I do. But when big decisions going to make, I say, watch for the door to open, watch for the doors to close. Do not push anything just because you want it. You wait and see it out. And I'm sure you heard his journey this last week, right? How he went for and I mean, look how things changed in a matter of a day.
Yeah, Andrew, to fill you in, Steve was about to have to move. Steve was about to have to move out of the house in St. Paul to live in a house in Minneapolis to get this new job. He don't ask questions, but he was going to have to move to Minneapolis. He then takes the offer he got from this different company back to the same company he's with right now and just like kind of throws it on the table. They give him more than he wanted. They say he could stay in the same house. And this all happened like within less than 24 hours.
4 hours, because I was on the phone with them at work all morning. Mom, he's texting me. Should I stay? And I'm like, Steve, this is your life. I mean, yes, I think you should. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. Because the doors are opening differently for you. And I told you to watch for those doors, So yeah, that's my big thing to everybody is quit pushing your agenda and wait for God's agenda. That's my take. That's my back pocket.
That is incredible. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh man, that's great. But yeah, no, it's really been a pleasure. And like when I was going through the Rolodex of who to get on and what kind of perspectives to kind of capture, I had to think of you because you're right there from the birth.
You're my son. And does Andrew know the beginning? I mean, seriously, if it wasn't for Declan and Gamiel, who took Steve under their wings, I don't know where Steve would be. And until I die, I will never forget it. I will never lose sight of that. And I am so always praying for you guys and thankful for you, both of you. And then the extension just came from all the other boys, which I'm as thankful for as well. But seriously, Steve was in a dark place and you guys yanked him out.
And that goes vice versa. I know plenty of times where Steve and Mark and Greg and all these people we keep kind of bringing up have helped me get out of a spot and helped Declan get out of a spot. What
kids would do that?
Right. We're here for each other, and we ain't gonna leave each other anytime. If you hurt us, it ain't personal. We'll come back around.
And that's why I said, Steve, you want to leave your friends? I mean, I know you got to grow up sometime. I know you got to move on sometime. I mean, look at Declan. He moved on, but he's still there. So that wasn't a major thing that I didn't want him to lose, but he needs to be there. God, he's not done. God's not done with you guys yet. I just feel that. So,
Well, thank you so much.
Story of the car, Declan,
Yes.
that was such a blessing. Where is that thing, by the way?
I sold it to a guy for the same price you gave it to me for.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome.
I sold it on election day. Right on my way out. My first day in Arizona was the day after election day, and the day right before I flew out, I had to let the Stratosphere go. But yes, my first car that I had to purchase myself was from you after you had just surprised your son thinking that his car got stolen. What a moment.
Classic, eh?
Absolutely.
I don't make anything just simple. I don't just drive up and say, here, honey, here's your car. It's gotta be a story. It's gotta be a memory.
It's gotta be a moment.
And it's gotta be a moment. And I suggest you guys always make a moment out of something.
Yes. And tonight has been a great moment where we've been able to celebrate and then kind of circle back on different things that have happened in between the three of us and Steve and everyone else. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing the stories.
Thank you guys for having me. I love you guys. Take care.
Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Next on the docket, we got recurring guest, recurring best friend, Mark the Shark Amick. How we doing?
What's up, fellas? How's it going?
Living the dream, dude. We've had an emotional night. We got Joey Puck coming on after you, but to give you some context, I think I was texting you a little bit, but Mark Dowdle made us cry.
He made you guys cry?
Yeah, it was nuts.
Nice.
Crazy.
That.
And it had everything to do with you too. You literally, I'm sure you'll listen back, and the listeners probably gonna be pissed about me reiterating what they've just listened to 20 minutes ago. You talked about your first time on the back pocket and how you were so uncertain about what you wanted to do and like why you were doing what you're doing and how it was all going to kind of formulate in this realm of sports. And it was episode 111. And you had come on and talked about that and you wrote down on your iPad what your why was. And and he said the craziest thing about that was you said it with such certainty and you've met it with such action in your life now that it just meant the world.
Wow. Dude, that's awesome.
I'm gonna clip it into the podcast just so we could all like be a part of that. But man, it was powerful.
Sweet. Dude, that's really, really cool to pull back on something from that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about it on the episode 297 of just like, these reoccurring things, sharing our stories, documenting what's happening. And Mark Dowdle took the time to listen back to a couple episodes of the core people, and he shared some things that Mark, I literally couldn't speak. I was sobbing so hard.
Wow, dude, that's amazing.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And then and we followed it up with Lori Harrell, who just joined the show.
Yep.
And she literally, you can't, it's so funny that you're in the room right now, Steve, because your mom told every story about you. And it's just, and we were like, Lori, what's in your back pocket? And she just talked about Steve, and it was beautiful. Every moment.
Yeah, her kids never slip her mind.
Love it.
Love it, dude. We're just bringing it full circle here then with the two of us.
So I got to ask you guys, and Steve, now that you're here as well, you might as well chip in. One of your guys, I'm sure there's a bajillion favorite back pocket memories, but whatever you guys conjure up, I'd love to hear a memory that you guys both have.
All right. Yes, I'll go first. Like you said, I was thinking of it all day and thought of so many great stories and so many great memories and different parties or events or just podcasts. But the one that I drew back on, which was so much fun for me, and just thinking of grassroots beginnings with just kind of the OG mentality of the back pocket, which is just hanging out and talking with friends early on. So my favorite memory, I'm going to say, was the Knights of the Round Table discussion in Charlotte, North Carolina on the way to Aruba.
Dude, yes. Hey, people forget that's my favorite airport in the world, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
We sat in, I don't even know, is it a Marriott or some hotel? Yep. And we recorded, because I think it was episode 5, and we're like, we're still trying to put out an episode a week, and we had to record one, and we sat down, the 5 of us, Knights at the Round Table, baby.
Yeah. Dude, that was so fun, and just everything, there was energy in that podcast, which was so hyped to get to that trip. And then, yeah, just everything surrounding that group and that podcast and that trip to Aruba with you guys and the family was one of my favorite vacations ever, hands down. So it's cool to have that on record
with,
too. And just sharing
Joey
stories.
Tats too is just priceless.
Yeah. Joey Tats, dude, podcasting on the airplane.
On the airplane, yeah.
Situational podcasting. And then Declan, he dinged the service button and asked her and said, "Happy birthday." I don't really have anything, but happy birthday. She's like, "It's not my birthday."
So funny.
Dude, I love that. What a callback. Steve.
See you, Cal.
Dude, so good to see you.
Great to see you, dude.
I'm glad to see that you're still in the house, by the way. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Glad I'm here. I gotta say, I'll never forget the call that I had received with the offer of being this first string producer for the Backpocket. I don't know what exactly. I think I was just stepping in for a moment in time to simply listen to headphones. And I was able to speak a few words, and it certainly pulled on the strings of you guys' creativity and thoughts and like where you want to take it. And you're like, you know what, this would be a good guy to produce. So you called me up, told me your thoughts, and I accepted. It didn't last long, and I didn't do jack crap, dude. I mean, you know, I listened. I stopped Greg Amick from clicking his pen on the table once. You know, we'd yell at the cars going across the street. That would be too loud when we were in the podcast room. But you know what? But I did it. You know, and that was all because of you guys. You gave me the opportunity, and I did it to the best of my ability. No regrets at all. I learned a lot, so I got to thank you for that. That's my favorite memory.
Good stuff, Stevie. You will always be our first string producer.
I'll also say you balled out big time when you needed it the most, and that was when we had President Sullivan on for the second time. So let's not forget about you were there as a producer for probably one of our most pivotal episodes of all time.
Yeah, never forget that one.
I can't believe that woman was in our porch.
But that's a great callback to the third time we had her on, right before we're about to graduate. Andrew realizes that you need to have a proof of like income to get a bank loan on a car, and he gets stuck at the Subaru dealership, and I have to do a podcast with President Sullivan by myself in our freaking sunroom with ashes on the ground and who the hell knows what. It's just the most rancid place in the world, and she brings her golden doodle for the first time into the studio, and I have to sit next to her recording a podcast by myself, solo for the first time, and my nice man-spreading legs is propping up her brand new golden doodle. I'll never forget it.
And a memory I'll never forget with you boys, and the constant memory, is whenever we host any type of event or any gathering, we know that the experience is going to be just an ultimate thing for everyone involved, because you guys will show up with the ultimate energy, and you will bring forth Bochella live show, a party in our house that we're doing with a raffle to somehow raise some money to get some dollars for marketing for Backpocket. You guys will show up, you'll bring some people as well, and you will absolutely enhance everything we're doing. And I will always be grateful for that. And one thing in particular, one moment stands out to me, was our first party we threw, the kegger in our house. And we couldn't afford to do this party and pay for these koozies and all these different things that we were trying to pull off. So we asked you guys, do you want to become investors in Backpocket? And we'll like return a hat and a sweatshirt when those And you gave us like, I don't know, $30 or 40, like we got 6 or 7 people that pitch in, didn't have to pay you back. And that would allowed us to get some koozies and shit like that. Yep. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we gave you sweatshirts and hats.
It always came back around, dude. I never had a doubt.
Yeah, dude.
Never a doubt.
Oh,
but no, that's perfect. Well said. And it's easy to bring the energy, dude. It's effortless. Thank you guys for bringing the community together every big event and party. It's just the best, man. Like, I was thinking through some of my favorite memories over the last 3 years up here. A lot of those have been centered around what you guys have pulled together for the community and the people we've met through the community. So it's just, you guys are just awesome. You guys are friggin' studs.
Done a great job. Create one common goal, and man, we will never fail to bring energy. The one thing that we can control.
Thanks for coming on, boys. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a good rest of your night.
Have a great night, guys. You guys are looking good.
Good night.
Oh, that's amazing. Those boys
guys
that's why we do what we do.
That's why they brought the energy. Now let's finish it off with the energy man himself.
Oh, beautiful timing here, eh?
Oh, yeah, eh?
Oh, don't you know? Row the boat, Sky Uma, go Ghosts, Joey Puck.
Renting it in. What's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. How are we?
Oh, we're doing well, man. We're finishing off the night after recording about 6 or 7 of these with you because we want to finish with the energy. Fins up, baby.
Fins up, dude. Let's go. I wish we were in person, but good to see the smiles, man. Dude, Declan, I gotta say, if there was like a high school superlative for like living in an RV on a farm, you probably would have won it, huh? Fulfilling your prophecy, your omen.
Yeah, no shit, dude. Chase your personal legend. It turns out that my personal legend is living in an RV with a mullet in the middle of nowhere.
Dude, it's just unreal. Only you can pull it off, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you for the recognition, man. Sky Mago Ghosts as always. It's just an elite time. Yeah, but I gotta ask, man, how you been?
Good, dude. Good. You know, just living life. You know, trying to adjust to the new normal. And new mantra is get better, help more, smile always, dude. That's what it is.
I love that. The when you say the new normal, do you mean your backdrop and it looking like an Argyle sweater?
Dude, everybody comments on that. Everybody does. But yeah, this was a nursery in this house I'm living in. But yeah, I don't know. It looks cool, right? Professional, somewhat.
Absolutely professional, man. You look elite. You brought the energy. I think it was 2019. Summer was rolling in, and you came into our house. We had just recorded 3 episodes. I think you finished it off. I think Jesse Addo was walking out, and you were walking in.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I think it was that was the first time catching up since we graduated, and we just had a freaking riot on the podcast, just topping each other off with give value, get value, give value, get value.
Dude, you're gonna make me run to this wall right now, but yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I think I said value. You guys counted it in that little sequence. I think it was 11 times in like 20 seconds. That should be in the world record books or something.
Absolutely.
300 episodes. This is number 300.
Yes, sir.
Dude, congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have touched on this, but like when you first started talking about starting a podcast, like what were you guys just kind of floating around that you guys are like gonna, be 2 funny guys out there? I guess, like, how did you guys initially like commit? I'm sure you've talked about it. I must have missed it, but
yeah. You want to take this one, Deck?
For sure. So by the way, you're episode 170. So 130 episodes later, we get you back on. Gotta love that. But I would say Mark Dowdle actually mentioned it earlier on this very podcast. Like, we listened to Part of My Take when it first started in 2016, listened to it in our cubicles, loved it, loved the energy, and just thought we could be the funny guys and kind of do it ourselves. Now, where it kind of took us and how we started it, it was all about accountability. I was also speaking about this earlier. I love this idea of the fact that you can be 2 wildly average guys in a room and take over a nation if you're Part of My Take, but what could we possibly do if we put our heads together on something? And I personally cared about it right away. Like, I knew it was something that lit my light bulb up, and I needed to find someone as a co-host to run through this fire with me. And someone who had already run through that fire in the Caruso's gridiron of 4 years was Andrew. And waking up at 6 a.m. to go to lifting, grinding through 3-4 years of scout team together. I mean, those were, and we were already friends. So it made so much sense to pick this man here and go forward with it. And, we've ran through the fire. It's been tough. There's been tons of strife. And I said it right at the beginning of this podcast also, like, I love this kid. And it's been nothing but amazing things that have come with it. And it's all about maximizing the happiness complex, baby.
And the only thing I'm going to add to that is, Tech, I love you too, man. And what's been the most inspiring part of this all is we could have easily at any point just said, I'm good. Like, we've done enough. This has been a blast. And I'll cherish this forever. but there is no stopping between the two of us ever. And that will come in many different directions, whether it's a full-time career or whether we want to continue to do what we're doing and then just inspire ourselves to hopefully inspire someone around us and laugh and just fill our hearts with just having a blast in recording these things and doing shit outside the studio and being able to reflect with people like you, Joey. So thanks for asking that question.
Dude. No, dude, I mean, I'm not going to be the only one that says this, but thank you. I mean, the impact you guys have made, not just on me, but around the community, Minneapolis. Now we're tapping into some Arizona markets. But in all honesty, dude, it's inspiring to see you guys go out and take action and kind of see the progression of what you guys are doing. And I mean, your network is huge. And the fact that you're always focused on helping people, like what you guys did with the Christmas event. I mean, now you're using the influence that you've created just over time by taking action, giving value. And in turn, you've been getting value too, but now you're using that influence and helping somebody else, man. I think that's one of the coolest things that I've seen personally all of 2020 for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thanks for sharing that. Because I was about to ask you if you have a favorite memory of us going after these last 4 years of something that you saw, was a part of, and it could be the BCE Best Christmas Ever thing that we did, but I'm just going to throw that out there at you again.
Yeah, no, I think that was top of mind just here recent. I love the Johnny I videos more than anything. Those get me jacked up on the Mondays. I want to get on the text chain one of these days. I might start trying to do some impersonations. I know Declan wanted me to do some, but maybe I'll work on that here. Do a little impersonation video. Love those. The famous Dave, dude. When he says he doesn't do stairs and you guys just bring the full production stuff down there. I thought that was FOAG, dude. FOAG.
FOAG woo there.
Practice. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. But no, in all honesty, dude, I think even like after my episode, right after whatever, was that season 2 or season 3?
3,
Two?
2, I don't know.
2, whatever. I was like, where are these guys going to take this, right? I was like, they've gotten some big names, not me, obviously, but they've gotten some good names on here. Like, what are they going to do next? Like, are they going to just kind of put it in the bag, or what's going on here? And just to see you guys, like, continue to come up with stuff. And now you guys are like a production company, right? Like, that's kind of your focus and pivot. So I guess, I mean, in all of it, I mean, the consistency between whatever you guys put out there, and yeah, man, I mean, well done. Seriously, it's cool to see. And yeah, it's pretty much all I got to say there.
Yeah, thank you. And all of that just makes me think of, you throw a situation at us and we're gonna make it work. Like that famous Dave story you just brought up, him coming in the house. He's an overweight guy. He's he's famous Dave. He's eating a lot of barbecue, and he looks at me dead in the face and asks me, where's the studio? And I was like, oh, it's on the 3rd floor, up a couple stairs. And I walk, and I was like, you need some water or anything before we walk up there? And I would return with the water, and he just looks at me and goes, I don't do stairs. And just pale in the face. Declan's out running to grab some new merch that we got. And I'm sitting there like, oh shit, how are we going to pull this off? And lo and behold, Declan runs in. I'm like halfway down the stairs carrying some equipment. And I'm just like, Decky, famous Dave doesn't do stairs. We got to bring the equipment down. And Deck's like, oh shit. Okay. Drops the bag of hats and then sprints up. And we make it happen and record it. And he's now a good friend of ours. So like, you're absolutely right. Like, you throw a situation at us, we're gonna have fun. And we couldn't be here without the support from you coming into our DMs and sending us a message every now and then saying like, dude, continue this. Appreciate what you're doing. Helping support us with Best Christmas Ever monetarily. Didn't have to do that. Chose to do that. So all these different things come full circle, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, that episode with Dave too. I mean, I knew there was something special behind the ribs, but dude, the guy's like a motivational speaker. I mean, the guy's next Tony Robbins or something.
He totally is. And what's awesome about this whole thing too is the fact that he so he ended up sponsoring Bochella this past year and gave us a bunch of boxed rib lunches for everyone off the boat. And who's to
Really?
say, yeah, it's so, and we didn't tell anybody. It was a big surprise that John and Sarah was handing out boxed Famous Dave's after Boatchella this year. And I'm just saying there's going to be even much bigger things planned for 2021, but that kind of culmination, man, I mean, it's so cool to see where things go. And it's cool to see that people see value in it. I mean, how many different speaking engagements has a motivational speaker as Famous Dave done? And why does he continue to call us or check back in with us and connect us with different people from time to time and year to year? I mean, we're talking, this was 2-3 years ago now that we had him on. And I think that's just really cool. And I think it speaks to what you're talking about. And I've always preached, which is give value, get value. And it's fun for us to grow in it and just like be a part of that. But I think it's also like amazing to have you along for the ride and watching you grow too. Like me going and starting to post on LinkedIn every day. Like I start to go on LinkedIn more, and it just makes my heart fucking explode and smile so much when I see Joey Puck dropping some serious dimes and just getting some serious engagement. I see Joey Puck talking to like college kids on or at like a sales conference or whatever. Like, dude, you're hustling, and it's so fun to watch.
Hey man, we're all kind of have that same mentality, right? You got to get better, help more, smile always, man. That's what it is. But no, it's sweet. You guys are building relationships with all these people, and you don't, like I said earlier, like, dude, you guys don't know the impact like you're truly having. Like all these people that listen in, tune in, it's like I said earlier, man, it's inspiring, and I think sky's the limit, obviously. But you guys continue on the path you're on, man, and keep focused on giving value, and you'll get value. I got it. I had to bring it in there.
Always.
Say your new quote again, just so I can internalize it.
Get better, help more, smile always.
Love it.
So
that is phenomenal.
Starts with you, right? You got to get better, and then you got to use those skills you're building to help somebody else more. You can always help more, and then stay positive, man. Smile always.
I love it, man. I love it. You're always bringing the heat and the energy, and I just really appreciate you for that. But as someone who has known us for quite some time, I'd love to pick your brain. And I hate saying that word, actually. I love to hear.
Now we're talking LinkedIn talk.
Yeah. Saying pick your brain, that's tough. I got to get out of that habit. But I want to hear, like, what's one thing you want to see from Backpocket in 2021 and beyond?
Dude, that's a good. I'd say like obviously it's tough in the environment, but like more in-person events. I know you guys had like the end of the year last year, and again, tough in the current environment, right? But we can wear masks, we can socially distance, we can find a way, right? Figure it out. I think, some of those Lincoln drinks, right? You guys were a big part of that. I unfortunately never made it to one, but I think like the in-person stuff for me and others, like the actual engagement, face to face, and kind of, there's a different like energy, there's a different vibe, and like you get the full effect of your guys' charisma and like what you guys are doing when you're boots on the ground, kind of visualizing it and a part of it in person. So again, tough with the environment, but I think that's something that would be cool. Again, I don't know what that would look like, but that's up for you guys to discuss. But I think I would get involved some way, somehow, if it's once a month or whatever. Even if it's just like grab a beer and we talk life or whatever.
I like that a lot, because at the end of the day, we can have all these conversations, but there's nothing more fulfilling than being in the community face to face and just and sharing an experience, whether it's jumping in the cold water, grabbing a beer, or dancing on a boat. No matter what it is, they're just good times to be had, and it's always better to do it in person. So appreciate you, Joey, and I just want to say thanks for hopping on the mics and delivering the value, because we definitely got some today.
Always smiling.
Hey man, hey, have to be. But yeah, keep it up, fellas. Keep making impact, and excited to grow alongside you. Up and to the right, baby. Up and to the right.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Take care, bro. Wow. One more deep breath.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a really cool hour and a half.
That was amazing. Like, that was, we're the only ones doing it. We're the only ones that can, we're the only ones doing it, but we're not the only ones who can do it. And I think that was a great example of that today. Mark Dowdle talks about how we showed so much care and compassion for him, and we were so invested in, his happiness and well-being, but he turns around and he sees a bunch of other people doing the same thing for him, and he does it onto them as well. And I just think it's so cool that, like, we started something from the goodness of our hearts and started something just because we cared about it, and we're just legitimate goofballs and did what we want to do. And it started a legitimate movement.
We started a movement because we never cared, and we still don't care how people perceive us, because we know who we are at the end of the day, and what we're after is to never push someone down. That's never been the look. I don't know what the action would be, but it's never been a negative approach to accomplish our end goal. It's always been to uplift. And that's why I've been so confident in never having a fear of trying something with you and just going for it. Technology wise, with all of this stuff in the setup with a podcast, to the things that we push ourselves to do outside the studio, like Joey just talked about. That's the thing that I was definitely reminded today. The fearlessness that we have. It is incredible, from hair standing up in my arms, from thinking about the old podcast studio and figuring out the nuances of a website. And we can go into iTunes and all that shit, to then bringing on Ty and him talking about all the technology things that he watched us go through, and all the rewarding feelings we got from getting better at something that we have way advanced from, to hearing things like Paige Boner starting her podcast and using the community around us to, bring other people together. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. I think the part that's the most fucking awesome is like the people who won because of something that we did. Like, I don't even like the memories that you and I have that people brought up of like specific episodes or things that we did. Like, those things don't even pale in comparison to the wins that they had because of just knowing us or being around us, or just like hearing things that like we had no idea happened. And those memories were brought to the surface tonight. That is the coolest part, man. I think that is the coolest fucking thing that we do. And that, when I say like we're the only ones doing it, I say that from the standpoint of like, we made the impact in those specific people, and now they're doing it to other people. And like, we started that. And I'm so like proud. And it was just so nice to like get a reminder of like what we do, like why we do what we do. And it's just cool to like have that perspective and like amplify it to the next thing we do, because it's never changed. It's never been something different. We've always just followed our hearts to maximize happiness, and we've tried to do it to the best of our ability together. And we know that we're average when we try it the first time. We know that we're goofballs in the whole grand scheme of things.
And that's why we push ourselves. And you're absolutely spot on. And the people that came on tonight circled the wagon of filling up your cup to then hand that cup to someone else and make sure it's cold, because let's refresh the next person and bring good energy. And I don't want to overtalk it and make it overkill from what we've tried to push ourselves to do over the last 4 years. But that recognition just lit a new fire, because we've been talking the last couple of weeks about, you know, being this podcast production company and pivoting our brains a little bit from what our end goal is. And I personally have lost sight in the other shit that we've also made, how we made people feel through what we've done. I've lost that a little bit. And this was a fucking awesome reminder to keep that front of focus time and time again.
100%. Yeah. The impact comes in many ways. And to your point, I think what you're alluding to is the fact that, like, with all these other things that we're doing as a production company, sometimes your own podcast and the thing you started to begin with takes a little bit of a back seat, and the emotions and the feelings and the lack of attention and the change up of that really challenges your emotions, and it pulls at you a little bit. So this was like a first and foremost a great reminder of, you know, the power of recording these podcasts and the importance of it and the reason why we love it so much. But then at the same time, it shows that, you know, don't ever stress about that stuff, because if we keep doing if we keep following our heart and we keep making the decisions that we want to make simply because we think it's a good idea and we'd have a lot of fun doing it, we're never going to lose doing that. Never. There's a no lose clause when you do shit like that. And this episode instilled that confidence even more in myself, and it sounds like you as well.
Yeah. Amen to that, dude. Thanks for sticking by my side for the last 4 years.
Same with you, man. It's been powerful, and I can't wait to see where we go. You know, like it's the moments, like it's honestly the moments that no one really knows about that mean the most. Like yesterday with the date night podcast and having like a tough date that we put together, and I'm driving and I don't want to be there, and I was in a tough spot in terms of just like, I just didn't want to, I had low energy, and because I was down on myself for like being in Arizona, booking a bad date, and then hearing about how shitty it was. And I'm like, damn it. Like I'm better than this. And just trying to find new solutions, right? You're in a spot where it just didn't go your way. Of course it didn't go your way. It's average. And yeah, you calling last night, like I just started thinking more ideas, and like had a certain like little thing I was thinking about with this whole bachelor and influencer thing, and you calling me, and like I could tell, like I was like, this is why we do what we do. Like we come together with new ideas and a different solution, and we just try and mull it over and figure it out until it works. Sometimes we beat our heads against the wall too many times, but it ultimately at the end of the day it works. And I think, dude, just like that dynamic and the energy that you instill inside me is fucking just, it's the coolest thing ever, man. I don't know. It's honestly the coolest thing ever. And that's why I care about you so much. And it's just like, we can't lose. We're never going to lose.
We're undefeated.
Undefeated.
Every day we have a chance to win. Let's make that day today and again tomorrow. And continue to do what we're doing, man. I love you.
Love you too, man. And I love everyone that's a part of this too. You know, if you've made it this long in the hour or 2 hour mark or whatever mark it is, and you're listening, and like, I love those people too. I love the interns, man. I love you guys, and you mean the world to us. And it's these types of moments that always remind us like why we do it. And I want to make impacts on whoever is listening right now, and I don't ever need to even hear it. I really don't, because we're super invested in the person, whoever's taking the time, you know. And I think that goes a long way.
Cheers to that. Invest in each other, man. We love you guys. Everyone involved. The interns. We love you.
Take care.